What's up, everybody? It's Greg with Delta, and this is the Be the Difference podcast. This podcast is all about making you a better person in your life and in your business with coaching on sales, leadership, mindset, marketing, everything under the sun when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And we bring on guest speakers. Today, we have the honor and pleasure of welcoming Mr. Giovanni Dienstmann.
Yes, thank you very much, Greg. It's a pleasure to be here.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, it's good. It's good. Dienstmann.
That's what I'm talking about. I didn't even practice this beforehand. Giovanni, how are you, sir?
I am doing very well today. How are you feeling?
I'm doing very well. I was just telling you before we started behind stage, I was like, don't worry about me. I look a little glistening if you're watching on video. I just got done with a 4-mile run and then I jumped in a podcast. So my day's a little bit strapped time-wise today. But it's all good. So for those of you that don't know Giovanni is a self-discipline coach. He has helped hedge fund managers, CEOs, entrepreneurs, ambitious professionals, artists, and pro athletes to live a more focused and disciplined life. Since 2014, he has been successfully coaching people to overcome distractions, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and other forms of self-sabotage. Whatever self-discipline challenges you face and whatever excuse you're telling yourself, Giovanni has seen it and has developed a tool to deal with it. Whether you need help building a consistent morning routine, breaking bad habits, finding your life purpose, increasing motivation and willpower, achieving your goals, or simply being more effective with your time and energy, mindful self-discipline can help. As a meditation teacher, Giovanni runs liveanddare.com, which is one of the top 5 most visited meditation blogs on the web. His first big book, Practical Meditation, is available in 8 different languages and has popularly been called the Meditation Bible. Giovanni has over 10,000 hours of personal meditation practice and is a sought-after consultant to award-winning meditation apps. His meditation programs have helped over 20,000 people start a daily meditation practice, improve their psychological well-being, and master their minds. Mindful self-discipline exists so that you can live life on your terms and be the person you aspire to be. My purpose is to mentor and inspire you on this path. Will you join me? That is Giovanni. And also, by the way, he has a new book that is launching. It's releasing today, Wise Confidence. So he'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's dig in. I want to talk about all things meditation. This is actually perfect timing for this. I just got done reading 2 Joe Dispenza books, and The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And I've been starting meditation. So this is right up my alley, man. I like
very
this.
Cool. Yeah. How's it going for you?
It's going well. Joe Dispenza's meditations are a little bit, they're hard. I feel it's hard to focus. Like the way that he has people focus on different parts of your body, then focus on the space around that part of your body, and then focus on space itself. To me, like I find myself wandering. Like, how do I focus on space? And so and then I just start questioning other things and I start to get lost. Whereas like with like a guided meditation, like I've done a lot of Tony Robbins guided meditations, I feel that I could stay honed in on that the entire time. So it's I guess it's just different practices. I've also tried the Silva method for a little bit that I did in the I think it's Mind Valley app.
Yes.
So
Very cool.
Yeah, so I'm still a baby though. I've probably done in the first 50 hours of meditation, right? So
well, there are many different styles of meditation. Meditation is a very ancient practice, and not all of them are the same. So just like there are different ways of exercising your body, there are hundreds of different sports. There are different ways of exercising your mind. And each person has to find the one that works best for them. Build a daily habit, experiment with a few different styles until you find the one that works for you. And in this journey, knowing exactly what you want from meditation will help you choose the best technique. So if someone comes to me wanting help with meditation, I will want to know, what do they want meditation for? What is the main benefit that they wish from the practice? What's the main transformation? And then I would recommend a practice.
What if they have a lot of things they want?
Well, isn't that the nature of life? Like we have a lot of things that we want, and in business also, like we want everything. In our career, we want everything, but we're forced to prioritize, right? And you can focus on the thing that is most important, and that doesn't mean you're not going to get the other ones, but you want to optimize your practice for the things that are most important.
Okay. I when I think about it, I'm looking at like as a form of manifestation. Are you? I think we're Giovanni. And we're back. Okay. Sorry, we had a brief intermission. I was asking, I was saying that I primarily I'm looking to do, or I've been starting meditation as a form of manifestation, as a
Hmm.
form of to like create the world, to understand more about energy and just creating the world that I want to live, creating
Yes.
the life actively.
Yes. Yes.
So if I'm doing that,
Hmm.
what's the best meditation style for me?
Right. So you need to learn how to focus the mind and retain that focus for a long period of time in the vision that you're trying to manifest. That's
Uh,
not something that I talk a lot about in my teachings, but for you to manifest something, you need to hold on to that blueprint in consciousness for long enough for it to consolidate, and then it starts trickling down into things, events, coincidences into this world. But the problem is, if we have 1,000 different thoughts going in all directions, 100 different desires going in all direction, then the energy of each thought and the energy of each desire is very small. So
okay.
yes, our mind has a creative power, but not all thoughts are equal. If we can diminish the number of goals we have, if we can diminish the number of thoughts and desires we have and make them all center around the same idea, around the same goal, day in and day out, then that will gather a lot of momentum. And that will impact us, keeping us more motivated, more focused, taking more action. And it will also impact the world around us. So that's the
Yes.
idea. We need to learn how to focus the energy of the mind.
Okay. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I feel like lately in my meditation that I'm like, there's a lot of things that like, oh, I want to do this. I want to manifest this. I want to manifest. So instead of spreading that energy out, focusing on like one thing that's prioritized, and then
Right.
the next and the next. So no,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yes.
So,
And that's the missing piece in the whole law of attraction movement. You get the impression that you just think and believe and then it's going to happen. But if the element of concentration, of focus,
mhm,
is missing, if the element of willpower is missing, then some things are going to happen because maybe there was just a little bit of energy that was needed and you put it in.
mhm.
But most things, the things that are really difficult, they are not going to happen, or they're going to take a very long time, because you are just generating a little bit of energy, and so you get a little bit of a response from the universe.
Okay, that makes sense. So when somebody start, so you have your first book, Practical Meditation. If somebody is looking to start a meditation, this is something like, hey, I've always thought about meditation. I've never done it because I can't calm my mind. Like I just don't think I'm good at it. What are some steps that you or some tips that you give people starting off, newbies looking to get into meditation and just kind of get their
Mhm.
feet wet?
Yes. So you need to start a daily habit, however small, even if it's just 5 minutes.
Hmm.
That's the foundation of everything else. If you don't have a daily habit, then you're never going to go anywhere with the practice. Meditation is the type of thing that you need to do every day for it to really make a difference, because every day your mind is going in all different directions, right? Every day negative feelings, emotions, um, thoughts can come in, right? So you need to train your mind also every day if you want to stand a chance. And when the mind is really busy, well, first of all, it's helpful to start the practice, to do the practice early in the morning before you start your day, before you go online, before
Hmm.
you check any notification, any email, any message, right? You had hopefully a good night of sleep. You woke up, you're feeling rested, your attention is replenished from a good night of sleep, the busyness of the day hasn't started yet. Then you do your meditation practice, the training of the mind, so that throughout the day you can come back to that state, that skill that you are developing through practice.
Hmm.
And when the mind is really, really busy, you won't be able to make it focus on anything. So first you need to use the breath. You can take a few minutes of a deep breathing exercise when you're making your breath longer, deeper, and smoother. And you do that for 2 or 3 minutes, that affects the mind.
Yes.
The mind affects the breath affects the mind. It's a two-way street. But
Mhm.
when the mind is really busy, most people will not be able to do anything on the mind level. So then you work on the breath level. Think of working with the breath a little bit as the warm-up of meditation. Before doing any sport, you do a little bit of a warm-up to make sure that you first don't get hurt, and second, that your training session is effective. It's the
Mhm.
same thing, but most people just go into meditation trying to focus the mind, and then the mind is thinking about 12 different things, and it doesn't work. But if you first really relax the body and calm your breath, calm your nervous system, then you will have a much better practice.
Yeah. I've actually been told the same thing. Joe Dispenza does a lot of slow, deep breathings. In his book Becoming Supernatural, he talks about flexing your energy center. That's in your pelvis, your lower abdomen, and your upper abdomen. Your first three energy centers, and like flexing those muscles to squeeze as tight as you can while you breathe up, which brings your energy up towards your pineal gland, and then hold it while you're still flexing, and then slowly release, and do that a few times before you start your meditation, so that a lot of the energy gets released from those energy centers, flows upwards to your enlightened centers, right, into your pineal gland, and it makes it for a better meditation. So,
Hmm.
so about same
Yes.
same exact thing, right? You're using
Hmm.
breathing techniques at the start to start up, and there's a lot. I've also tried the Wim Hof breathing technique. I've done that
Hmm.
before, and I
Yes.
feel like that actually helped calm my mind quite a bit. Doing
Hmm.
the Wim Hof breathing technique before meditation, it made meditation a lot better.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Any good breathing technique will do. They all have different effects, but
Mhm.
we need to break that pattern of the way we are breathing day to day life so that we aid getting into the meditative state.
So how did you get into meditation? Like what drew you to start meditating?
Well, my first experience with meditation was when I was 14 years old. And at that time, meditation was not cool. It was not known. When I said I tried meditation, no one knew what that meant. So it was a very different time from today when you're kind of admired for having a daily meditation practice. Um, I was interested in all things philosophy, spirituality, metaphysics. So I was reading books around these topics and trying out whatever they were, promoting. And one of the practices that every book was talking about was meditation as a piece of training the mind. So that's how I got into it.
Nice, nice. And when you started at 14, was it like a continuous thing? Did you kind of fall in love with it, or did you have some off season? Did you like do it for a little bit, try it? Or is it something that you went all in and you just like, dude, I've been doing it ever since. I never stopped.
So for about a year and a half, it was on and off.
Yeah.
And then one day when I was 15, I went to a workshop and I experienced it in a different way. I
Mhm.
experienced meditation state in a different way. And I loved it. And then at that time, I kind of made a commitment to myself that I'll meditate every day for the rest of my life. Like, I want this.
Mhm.
And that was the start of a really consistent, disciplined daily practice.
When do you feel that it clicked? That you felt like you were able to release the body and just be completely like let go of where you're at, let go of the time, let go of the place you're in, let go of your body, and just be present in your mind. How long do you think it took you, or are you
Well,
still working on it?
I had that experience that day when I was 15 in that workshop. I felt like, wow, this is like a different space in my consciousness. Like, I've never been in this state before.
Yeah,
And I want to get to this place again and again. It was a place of, nothing to run after, nothing to run away from, just peaceful, present in the moment, not really aware of the body. It's like you're in a different dimension. That's
yeah.
how it felt for me. And so that's why I started the practice.
What was the workshop you went to?
It was a Brahma Kumaris. That's the name
Okay,
of the group. Don't know if
okay,
they're really famous in the US, but some countries they are.
yeah, okay. That's
Hmm.
fantastic. I've ever since I started reading, I've been getting into meditation slowly over the last, I'd say 2 years. And I've gotten more into reading meditation books lately. And now I'm like, I really want to go to like a Joe Dispenza retreat or like, and just do it for a couple of days. Just let go of everything and just meditate for days, you know,
Hmm. Yes.
and get to that state where you can, like, I feel like I'm on the cusp, right? Like, I'm like, what? Like, I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for it to like let go or for me to release. I don't know. It's just like, I feel like it's right there. And so, this is definitely something that's been, um, like consuming my mind and my thoughts over the last
Yes.
2 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
fascinating. I like that. How long before you wrote your first book?
I wrote my first book in 2017. So at that time, I was already meditating daily for 17 years. I was already teaching people, and I had already created a couple of courses. So yeah, basically, the website that I was running, still I'm running, but I'm focusing mostly on my second website. But at that time, a person who was on my mailing list for that website living there, um, they happened to be an editor and a very big publisher. And then they needed someone to write a meditation book. And they said like, oh, I know the guy. I'm part of his newsletter, and he has some pretty cool ideas about meditation. And so they reached out to me. So that was publisher DK, who publishes those illustrated books across different topics. They are part of the Penguin Random House,
Okay.
and they contacted me saying like, hey, we want to publish this book, but we has to be written in a month, and we were told that you are the guy for the job. And so I wrote that book in a month, and that was my first book. And then I felt like, this is so much work to do, the proper way to do it, my level of um, expectation and requirements. So I felt
Yeah.
like I'm not going to write a book. I don't think about writing any other books. But then 3 years passed, and I wrote the second one, and then a few years passed, and I wrote the third one. And I feel like, no, actually I want to focus on writing books. I have several other books in me.
Yeah. I like that. That's amazing. I'm on your website now. I'm kind of looking about your three books, Mindful Self Discipline. And I'm curious. I'm curious more about these, which makes me want to
Hmm.
like just buy, because I'm an avid reader. I read
Hmm.
usually about a book a week.
Well,
Uh, so
50 books a year.
so yeah, about 50 books a year. Yeah, because I've read this year so far. I've read like 6 books, so I'm on my 7th right now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this is something that I'm very passionate about. So
Hmm.
um, I like this. I think I'm gonna go buy your books. Just to start reading these, because having a step by step guide for meditation actually is very helpful. I believe,
Hmm.
especially for if you're listening to this and you haven't ever tried meditation, I highly recommend doing it. Start with like what I did is I started with a guided meditation. There's so many free guided meditations online, and you go to YouTube, you can type in guided meditation, and you can just kind of play around with different ones and see which one that you like the most. Kind of like what you were saying earlier, Giovanni. Um, but if you find one, just keep doing it daily. I've found that with the more I do it, it's actually helped me to be more present and less reactive when things happen. Is actually calmed
Hmm.
me down a lot.
Yes.
So that's how I feel it's done for me so far. I also do feel like I find little synchronicities in life of things that I'm desiring, and then like things will happen, and it'll be this very happenstance, or oh wow, I can't believe that happened, or like oh wow, what a coincidence. Like, like those little things happen more often for things
Yes.
that you are looking to accomplish in life. So absolutely.
Hmm.
How long ago did you start your current book that just released, Wise Confidence?
So I started writing this book 2022. And then I finished the first draft, and then there was a pause of 3 months because I went on a sabbatical in India. Then I came back, then worked on it more, and finish it last year, 2023. So it's launching today, March 12th.
Nice. That's fantastic, man. I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank
Three
you.
books. And you didn't even want to write anymore. You're like, I'm done. Now you're releasing your third. That's fantastic. Give us a little synopsis about wise confidence and why anyone would want to look into this.
Okay. So confidence is an essential skill for you to do well in any area of life, in your career, in relationships, in achieving your goals, etc. And there's a way of being confident that is balanced, that doesn't come with arrogance, with pretentiousness. And so what I call wise confidence is that middle between two extremes. In one extreme, you have self-doubt, in which you are second guessing yourself, you are defeating yourself before you even begin. You are not starting the projects because you're not convinced that they're going to succeed. Or if you start, it's kind of half hearted. And so, of course, they don't succeed in that case. Or if they do, it's just luck and you can't repeat it. And on the other side of the spectrum, the other extreme is overconfidence, where you feel that you've got it all together and that it's going to be easy and it's a piece of cake, and that one makes you not be so present. Also, you're not going to fight with all your might if you think that all you need is a little bit of an effort to win. And so the balanced way is wise confidence, in which you're not underestimating yourself, but you're also not underestimating the path. You have a healthy amount of respect for the obstacles ahead of you, and you're not thinking about yourself. You're not saying like, will I do this, will I not do this, will it happen, will it not happen? No, you're just focused on showing up as your best self with what I call the 5 elements of confidence, which are determination, integrity, self-belief, courage, and optimism. And so that's the executive summary of wise confidence.
I like that. How did you come to the decision that you're like, I need to write about this? What was the moment where you're like, you know what, I want to write a book about this?
Right. So at my core, I am a meditation practitioner and a meditation teacher. But my approach in my career and in my own path is very different from the more popular approaches of meditation. Most people, when they think about meditation, is just be in the moment, learn to accept and let go, and be happy with what you've got here, and just go with the flow. And there are qualities to that, and that is important. But for me, meditation is more about empowerment. It's more about learning how to touch your true potential, learning how to focus the mind, learning how to go into higher states of consciousness, learning how to become more skilled human being able to achieve your goals more easily. So I write about this intersection between peace and power, if you will. And one of the aspects of this is self-discipline, the ability to master ourselves. Right? If you look at all meditation traditions, they're all centuries old, millennia old in some cases. They put great emphasis on self-discipline and self-mastery. But these days, people are not talking about it anymore. So I wanted to bring that back because that is a great power to have in our lives. You feel more centered, you feel more calm, you feel more in control when you got things together. And so discipline is one expression of this more conscious form of empowerment. And confidence is another. I realize that many people lack confidence and they have negative feelings about confidence. That confidence means being arrogant, it means being an ego person, it means being domineering, it means like kind of shouting and taking over the room. And no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. There are different ways of being confident. Confidence at the core is about believing in yourself. It's about showing up as one. That if you decide to do something, the whole of you is moving forward. The whole of you is doing something. There's no part inside of you saying like, maybe I can't, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I won't. No, you're moving forward. You're moving forward. Otherwise, you're trying to move forward with the handbrake on. You're going to spend a lot of gas, and you're probably not going very far. Right?
Yeah.
So I realized that this is something that is universally appealing. Many people who need this, but not everybody is satisfied with the solutions that are out there currently.
Well, I agree with you in terms of people needing this, especially now more than ever. There seems to be more people in society and that are spinning their wheels, so to say, so to speak, and they're having challenges that simply shouldn't even be an issue. Um, and they get lost in their vices. They get lost in their thoughts and self-defeating and self-limiting beliefs. Why do you think that has happened over the last 10, 15, 20 years? That this is something that is needed more than ever.
Right. I think this has always been a challenge, but it's becoming harder and harder. Now there's a poet that wrote a long time ago about the poem that didn't got written because someone knocked at the door. Right? That was the level of distractions people had at the time. Oh, someone knocked at the door and then I got distracted. If they saw how often we get distracted these days, they would not believe, like, how can you get anything done? This is maddening.
Yeah.
Right? So struggling with impulse control and focusing the mind, and being on top of your negative thoughts and emotions, etc. This has always been a challenge. We see this written in the spiritual traditions 2,000-3,000 years ago. Apparently we all fell from the ideal state because someone could not exercise self-control and had to eat an apple. So these stories are very, very old, and they speak about about a challenge that is core to being a human being. But I agree that in the past decades this has become harder and harder, because it's being our psychological weaknesses are being exploited in a way that is more effective than ever before, because of technology, because of marketing and the internet. So it's just which it means that now more than ever before, we need to learn how to focus our mind. We need to learn how to have self-discipline, how
Yeah.
to exercise some control over our attention, how to develop willpower. Because in the past, if you didn't do these things, like, okay, you still be okay, you're just not going to excel. But nowadays, if you can't do that, you're probably going to be in a very bad mental state.
Mhm. Agreed. Agreed. And I agree with you. Focus, being able to control one's mind and control your thoughts, which a lot of people, I've had this conversation before and like, yeah, but I just like, it's so hard. And like, I can't, this thought, I can't get this thought out of my head, or I can't stop thinking about this. Right. I can't control my thoughts. I can't calm my thoughts down or calm my mind down. Then my question is, then who's got control of it? Like, if you can't
Right.
control it, quote unquote, who's controlling it then? Who's forcing those thoughts? Like, and it's
Right.
taking like ownership and really having an awareness. It's having an
Mhm.
awareness of those thoughts when they happen, catching them. And for me, it's been understanding where that thought, that emotion or that thought is coming from, and letting that kind of go through me, letting it, instead of holding on to it or stuffing it down, and just realizing that it's just part of life, right? And being more aware. Um, and I think that that's something that is, you're right. It's notifications, social media, calls, texts, emails, Netflix, Hulu,
Right.
Uber Eats, whatever, all these things at our fingertips. And it is a distraction, and it keeps people from achieving their potential, what they're meant to accomplish, the greatness they have within them to really pursue, which everybody has that. Everybody has
Mhm.
greatness, and everyone has the unlimited potential. It's just whether or not they're willing to do the work and abstain from just letting their mind loose and doing whatever it wants.
And the problem is some people don't believe that they have unlimited potential.
Yeah.
Some people have been conditioned to believe that they can't do things because when they grew up there was an overbearing sibling or a parent who was aggressive or bullying, or there were issues like this with classmates at school, whatever. So because of our life experiences, we have been conditioned to operate from a certain identity.
Mhm.
We have come into this world without any self-image. We don't know who we are. We don't know what the world is. We don't know how to navigate the world. But after a few years, we have very fixed ideas about all of these things.
Mhm.
And for most people, those ideas don't change for the rest of their lives. They live inside the box of their conditioning,
Yeah.
and they didn't choose that box, right?
Yeah.
So the work that I'm inviting people to do in Wise Confidence is to become aware of your conditioned identity, of the box that you're in,
Mhm.
and then to dare dismantle that box and create a better box for you, a better frame of reference for you to operate through life. Because if your original box contains the idea that the world is a dangerous place, then you're going to experience anxiety for the rest of your life. If that core limiting belief is there, that the world is a dangerous place, then you will feel anxious,
Mhm.
right? And no amount of positive affirmations or pills are going to help. They can turn off certain things temporarily, but inside of you, at your very core, at the very root, there's the saying that the world is a dangerous place. I better be careful. I better stay in my corner, not try things, not take on risks. And because you believe you can't handle the difficult emotions and situations that can come, right? And
Yeah.
so the point that I make in the book is that at the end of the day, any journey of self-transformation that is supposed to be permanent is a journey of transformation of our identity, that we become a different person. We start operating from a different set of beliefs, from a different identity.
I like that. I think it's amazing. And you do coaching as well. So is this some of the coaching type of coaching work that you do as well? When you're helping people kind
Yes,
of reframe their limiting beliefs, create new empowering beliefs. That way they can,
right.
if you get rid of one, you have to replace it with a new one. You can't just leave that void there to be filled by something
Yeah,
else, right?
you cannot be in the vacuum. Your brain needs a point of reference.
Yeah.
Your brain needs a certain box for it to live in and to know how to navigate the world. But the problem is you haven't chosen that box. You
Yeah.
haven't chosen the set of beliefs that you want to operate from.
Yeah.
And most people, they never change that. But if you are in the journey of personal growth, if you are waking up to the fact that, this identity is not a truth, it's a habit, it's something it's a lie that has been repeated 1,000 times, and now it feels like a truth. So yes, with many of my coaching clients, I will go through the exercise of developing their what I call an aspirational identity, the person that you want to be, and then operating from that aspirational identity as if that is already true here
Mhm.
and now. And so for one person that comes to mind, she was always struggling with self-esteem and self-confidence. And we created an aspirational identity, a version of herself conceived through your imagination, which is our core creative power, is our imagination.
Yeah.
A version of herself that has never had problems with self-confidence at all, that she is assertive, she is courageous, she is full of self-belief, and she doesn't have any of those issues. And little by little, she learned how to absorb and how to operate from that new point of view. And so you're not trying really hard to change the nature of yourself. You are almost taking a quantum leap into a different nature.
Yeah. I like that. Like literally recreating. It reminds me of Goggins, David Goggins, and how he has his alter ego, which is just Goggins, and he almost sees it like a different person. So when he's in struggling or he's hurting and he's on the long runs or whatever he's doing physically, it's like he goes in his mind and he is. It's like how Goggins would see it, right? Which is his alter ego, which is the person that just is the toughest man on the planet and can
Mhm.
tackle any challenge, right? And
Mhm.
I like that idea, that thought of like recreating another person, another persona of has all of the ideal characteristics of what you want to be, and then thinking about how would that person operate in the world? What would they do? What would decisions they make? How would they react and start to act like that? And it's like almost the
Mhm.
disposition before position. You have to act it out. You have to start being it before you become it. Before it's
Be
actually,
who you want to be.
Yeah.
Act as how you want to feel. That's the message.
Yeah. I like that. That's awesome. That's amazing. And when did you start coaching? Was it through meditation that you got into coaching and you started realizing that you could help people to achieve higher states of consciousness, or?
Well, in my journey in meditation many years ago, I was teaching meditation, sometimes formally, sometimes informally. Then when I started my online business back in 2014, then I was writing about it and creating courses. Coaching started more or less, I think, 2016. Yeah, mid 2016.
Mhm. And when you started it, how did that kind of fall in your lap, or how did you start being like, you know what, I should be coaching? Or was it something that someone said to you, or was it someone wanted to hire you as a coach? Like, how did that happen?
Yes, people were emailing me and asking them if they can have a coaching session with me.
Yeah, that's
And I
and
thought,
it just
okay, let's try this. And then I liked it, right? And then I created a page saying, okay, let's coach together. And little by little, I experimented with different coaching niches, and self-discipline coaching was the one that people were most excited about. People come, they go and Google self-discipline coach or self-discipline coaching. I'm number 1 and 2 in Google, and they come to me to a discovery call. They've never heard about me before, and then they're like, wow, this is exactly what I needed, right? If I develop this skill, I can have the life that I want to have. I can achieve my goals. And if I don't, then you can see their pain. Like when people come to that point, in most cases, they've already tried everything. Some of them know more about building habits than I do, but they can't build the habits, and that's something that I can help them with.
nice, nice. And if someone wants to find out more about your coaching or your books, what's the best place to connect with you? I know you still have your meditation blog that you do.
Hmm. Well, the best way is to go
Where
to
can they
my
find all that?
yeah, the best way is to go to mindfulselfdiscipline.com.
Okay.
There you can find my books, the app, and the coaching.
Okay. So is the app a meditation app?
Yes, the app has guided meditations around focus, self-discipline, self-confidence, and some other topics.
Uh-huh.
And it also has some other tools to help implement the concepts of the book.
Nice. That's okay. Awesome. And are you on social media? You do any content on
I
social
am
media?
not. I am not on social media. My business is on social media. So
Okay.
if you search, you will find, and there are daily videos that I post. But when I say I'm not there, meaning like I don't use those services, so I'm not going to be answering questions.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you so much, Giovanni, for jumping on and just talking about a little bit of your experience, how you got in meditation, and your book, your new release book, Wise Confidence. Um, the one question I have for all my guests that come on and at the end of the discussion is, what are or who are three people that if you had the opportunity to sit down with, break bread with, have a conversation, and just pick their brain, who would you pick? Anybody in history, alive or deceased?
Well, in my case, they would be spiritual mentors and people that I have read and admired. I
Uh-huh.
would probably sit with the Buddha.
Okay.
I would sit with Swami Vivekananda.
Okay.
And I know most people are not going to know these names, but I'm just answering the question. And I would sit with Swami Nikaleshwarananda. These three spiritual giants that have greatly inspired me in my journey.
Okay. Actually, I like all those. I know the first two. Obviously, I know Buddha. I know the second one you told. I've heard of him also from a lot of the books that I've been reading. But those are all fantastic. Those are all very unique ones that I've not heard before. So thank thank you so much for jumping on the podcast, Giovanni. For anyone listening, do me a favor, go check out mindfulselfdiscipline.com. Go check out his free resources, go check out his books, and check out his book that just launched today, Wise Confidence. If you watch now, obviously you got some value, then do me a favor. Share this content with somebody else that can also get value from it. It takes you 30 to 60 seconds to rate, review, subscribe, or share this content, but it means the world to both Giovanni and I to share this content out and hopefully help another soul. This has been the Be the Difference podcast. I'm your host, Greg Birch. Until next time, we'll see you. Take care.